JoshCast, dun 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 dun. Oh, I can't believe this show is still on, dun 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 dun. But there was one guy who mentioned it a few days ago, dun 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 dun. JoshCast, dun dun, which means dun 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 dun. Dun. I have two listeners, dun 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 dun. JoshCast, dun 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 dun. JoshCast, dun dun dun. All right. I always like to start with an. And right now they're doing construction right in front of the apartment. That's what's happening right now. It's 10 p.m. and they are, looks like, doing construction, which means they're probably going to be doing construction tomorrow at 7 a.m. And this seems to be a running theme in my life. No matter where I sleep, someone is building something. It happened when I was in college. I remember I went to Chapman University, which is a great school. And was also great when I went there. Also all under construction while I was there. It's a beautiful campus now. I was there when it was a ditch. Great place, though. Great place. But even now. So I'm talking about this. I shouldn't be talking about this. I need to be going deeper. That's the problem. I'm not going deep enough. People tell me that I should. Yeah, I'm not. I'm putting on an air right now. This is a performance. I need to get real. I need to get more real. Stop performing. Get to the depth, plumb the depths, which is a quote from Curb Your Enthusiasm. Now I always like to cite my sources. It's important to do that, I should think. But yes, I just feel horrible. That's where I'm at. I really do feel horrible. I feel like a failure because I'm over 30 and I don't have a verified Twitter. Basically, I just feel like an absolute failure. And that's the end of the podcast now. I do. Because I just feel, you know what I do? I say to myself, well, by Woody Allen, by this point in his life, Woody Allen had already directed 10 movies. And they say, Josh, you shouldn't compare yourself to other people. You shouldn't compare yourself to other people. Everyone is on their own personal journey. I can't help but compare myself to other people because it's human nature, I think. In fact, I think it's animal nature. All animals compare. We have to compare. All animals compare. A dog is comparing itself to other dogs, saying to itself, I can take this dog, or, oh, I'm not the alpha male in this situation. Got it. So I can't help but compare. And I'm comparing myself to other people who are my age, and I just don't like where I'm at in my career. And I don't blame anyone else. It's totally my fault. I'm not taking any risks. And now this is becoming a therapy session, I know. Like, the goal of this JoshCast is that it's supposed to be funny. But by the same token, lately I feel like I'm trying to be funny and not being funny. So now my thinking is, well, if I just really dig down and talk about who I am as a real person without any, if I reveal emotionally as much as I can, then the humor will come to me in a moment of divine inspiration, and that's what I've been telling myself consistently for 8 years. And now it takes joke structure. Not a lot of joke structure going on right now, but now I'm in my head judging myself, and then even the being in my head judging myself in and of itself is a way for me to hide what I'm really feeling. So yes, failure. That's the subject. I feel like a failure. I feel like I should be at the point where every joke I write is 100% a killer joke. I feel like I should be at the point where when I write one draft of a screenplay, it's brilliant. And I feel like I should be, when I do a podcast, I shouldn't need to pre-write. I should just be able to talk into my phone and spew out brilliance. And the fact that I'm not, then I tell myself, well, what if I never get there? What if I don't have what it takes? What if I don't really have talent? What if I am, or even worse than that, what if I'm almost good enough, but not quite? I think that's my biggest fear. That almost there. That is my biggest fear. Yeah, I don't want to be the Star Trek 3 of people. But you know what? I'm not being fair. I liked Star Trek 3. I enjoyed the entire stealing the Enterprise sequence. I really did. I love that sequence. How they were able to back out of the space dock and escape and not be stopped by the 19 other ships that were right nearby. I really enjoyed that. And the key, apparently in the future, they are really strong union rules. And if you steal the ship at night in the middle of space dock, and it's not working hours, then no one's getting up to help. That's just too bad. Well, it didn't happen on the clock. Screw them. The ship's theirs. They're taking it. They're taking it to the Genesis planet. That's a riff that won't work anywhere. Yeah, I just feel totally like a failure. And also, we just produced the comedy festival, and it's odd producing it because it went well, but it's hard for me to watch other people get on stage and get representation or get noticed. It's hard to just kind of sit in the back and watch that. I get very jealous, and I know I'm not supposed to get jealous because I'm on a journey. This is a journey. I'm on my path, and they're on their path. And my path is supposed to be. There's no joke structure in what I'm doing right now. That's all. That's what I hear. I hear my inner voice saying, "There's no joke structure. Where's jokes? You're just complaining. There's no joke structure. There's no joke structure. There's no joke structure." But I see other people succeed, and I should be happy for them, and I tell myself, you know what, I'm going to tell myself I'm happy for them, and that's what I say to myself. I'm telling myself I'm happy for them, and then I'm not, but at least I'm telling myself I'm happy for them, and I think that's, when I read those self-help books, that's what you're supposed to do. Just say it until you believe it. I'm happy for them. I'm happy for them. Good for them. It's not working. Transition, thought transition, thought transition. I don't really need to transition. I'm still kind of there on this feeling of failure. Because I feel like a failure because in my mind, success equals making a living as a comedian, actor, writer, and that anything less than that is failure. Which is ridiculous. I mean, it's ridiculous because, here's why that's ridiculous. Here's why that's ridiculous. If I judge success as I'm making money at it, people recently sold a painting that was painted by Adolf Hitler for $200,000. They did not sell the painting because Hitler was an amazing painter. They sold the painting because it was painted by a guy who was notorious. So under my crazy logic, if Hitler were alive still somehow, and somebody purchased this painting, he'd say, "Well, I finally made it. I did it. I'm doing it. I'm sure I can survive off $200,000 for a year. I'd have to live sparingly. Maybe just one bunker instead of two, but." So it's ridiculous. I should be success and failure. What's success? Success should really be my ability to love other people and to be a genuine good human being. That's how I should measure success. That's what success should be. Not what are my accomplishments. And I recognize that, but at the same time, I really just would rather go win the Oscar. I still go right back to that. I don't know what to make of it. What's the plan? What am I going to do? I just have to keep getting up and I guess keep figuring it out. And that's all there is to it. All I can do is keep going. This is the kind of conversation I would have with my mother. Only would last for 2 hours. And at the end of it, we would start brainstorming how the world's going to end. That's how our conversations go. We would go. I feel like the prevalent world-ending theory for us is going to be we destroy the environment. I think that's where we're at. There was a time where my mom was big into it's going to be diseases that gets us, but now I think she shifted to destroying the environment and total financial collapse because the healthcare system is not going to work. So that's a glimpse into my life, if you will. I don't know how this podcast. I don't think I'm doing the podcast right. Somebody said you should have someone else on the podcast with you. They're probably right, but I want to prove something. I'm doing this alone because I want to prove that I'm good enough by myself without anybody helping me. And I'm off to a stellar start with this. So where are we at? I mean, I still feel like I guess what I've learned is that I have to, however, whatever I feel, I have to just ignore that and go out and do it as if I was not a failure. So I just have to, go out there and, people say, "Oh, you're a comedian," and I have to say yes without any qualifiers, and look them in the eye and smile and be definitive. Yes, I am a comedian, and hope to God they don't IMDb me in the foreseeable future, and then, one day someone will just take it at face value. Which, you know what, in this society, you look back at the subprime mortgage crisis. There are people out there who will take it at face value. So maybe that's all I have to do is just say I'm not a failure, and then that's it. So I'm not a failure. This is the end of the podcast. The end of the podcast. And the children play and the witches sing. I don't know why I went to the witches singing. That's creepy. This is the end of the podcast.